The metabolism of foods produces acids. Aerobic metabolism of carbohydrates produces carbon dioxide, whereas the anaerobic metabolism of carbohydrates produces lactate. The metabolism of proteins produces sulfates and phosphates. The metabolism of fats produces keto acids. The kidneys can absorb bicarbonate and they secrete hydrogen ions in the PCT in the form of water and in the DCT in the form of HCl. In alkalosis, HCO3 is secreted, whereas in acidosis, HCO3 is reabsorbed. The buffer system acts immediately to buffer the acid or the base, whereas the lungs can rapidly wash out the CO2. The kidneys take about 6 hours and can work for many days to excrete H+ ions and HCO3 ions. Hydrogen ions are also eliminated by combination with other compounds to finally excrete NaHPO4, where phosphates combine with sodium and hydrogen, glutamine, which breaks down to form ammonia ion, which is excreted along with chloride to form NH4Cl, and NH4Cl itself, ammonia from a different source along with hydrogen and chloride get excreted. Thus the hydrogen is excreted along with the other compounds to maintain electrical neutrality. To understand how the kidneys exchange hydrogen ions for potassium, sodium and glucose is absorbed by the sodium glucose pump. The sodium hydrogen antiporter gets sodium into the cell and hydrogen out of the cell, whereas the sodium potassium pump gets sodium out and potassium in. Thus observe here that sodium gets in and sodium gets out, whereas hydrogen gets out and potassium gets in. And this is how the kidneys exchange hydrogen for potassium. The mnemonic to remember anion gap metabolic acidosis is mud piles: methanol, uremia, DKA, paraldehyde, which is hardly used nowadays, INH or ion therapy, lactates, ethanol and salicylic acids. The use of soda bicarb is not very beneficial in lactic and ketoacidosis. This is because it causes alkalosis in the extracellular fluid, therefore leading to a poor offloading of oxygen from hemoglobin. The HCO3 also enters inside the cell and worsens the intracellular acidosis because HCO3 forms carbonic acid inside the cell. Metabolic alkalosis occurs because of an increased production of bicarbonates or a decreased excretion of bicarbonates. Alkalosis and hypokalemia are usually seen together. During prolonged vomiting, there is the loss of hydrogen, chloride and potassium from the oral route. The kidney excretes bicarbonates due to the presence of alkalosis. Hydrogen is reabsorbed in exchange for potassium. As the patient gets dehydrated, there is sodium and water reabsorption with potassium excretion. Therefore, there is paradoxical aciduria seen in alkalosis. To interpret the ABG, we first calculate the anion gap, which is the difference of the positive and negatively charged ions. Normally it is equal to 12, which is also equal to 3 times the amount of albumin. The anion gap measures the organic acids which are present in the system. Next we calculate the delta gap, which is anion gap minus 12. Anion gap is equal to delta gap if bicarbonate is used to neutralize all the acid. That means if the delta gap is 20, that means 20 units of acid are floating which have completely used up the bicarbonates. If there is a drop in bicarbonate and a raised delta gap, this indicates metabolic acidosis. Add the delta gap to the bicarbonates. If the value is more than 24, this means it is metabolic alkalosis. If the value is less than 24, it means metabolic acidosis. The normal value of lactates are 0 to 2. More than that indicates cellular hypoxia or ischemia. The normal base excess is -2 to +2. A rise indicates presence of acidosis. While observing the pH and the PCO2, If they go in opposite directions, it is a respiratory phenomenon, whereas if both of them go in the same direction, it is a metabolic phenomenon. Apply the Winters formula by seeing the ratio between the bicarbonates and the PCO2 to check the degree of compensation. In metabolic processes, start with the HCO3, whereas in respiratory processes, start with the PCO2. Observe the graph. The green and the red line point to a respiratory acidosis. In acute respiratory acidosis, for every 10 points increase of PCO2, there is a 1 point increase of bicarbonate. Whereas in acute respiratory alkalosis, for a 5 points drop of PCO2, there is a 1 point drop of bicarbonate. In chronic respiratory acidosis, for every 3 points rise of PCO2, there is 1 point rise of bicarbonate. Whereas in chronic respiratory alkalosis, for every 2 points drop of PCO2, there is a 1 point drop of bicarbonate. Observe the blue curve. In metabolic acidosis, for 1 point drop of bicarbonate, there is 1 point drop of PCO2. Whereas in metabolic alkalosis, for 2 points increase in bicarbonates, there is 1 point increase of PCO2.